We are back with a recap of the Cavaliers falling to the Kings in Sacramento by the score of 120 to 127. This isn't becoming just a Cavs review channel. I swear it's just that they've played a lot of games since the Buckeyes played, and the Browns and the Jackets are on break. I did a kind of like a mid-season analysis of the Browns so far, but besides that, it's just been pretty much the Cavs playing. I know Ohio State basketball is picking up. I plan on doing more like general like weekly summaries of those, especially with Ohio State being in the non-conference schedule, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the actual game at hand. The Cavs played a really sloppy game against the Kings, and this is a bit of a concerning game because you don't have the built-in excuse of the fourth quarter last game of, it's the second half of a back-to-back and stuff like that. Darius Garland had another not-so-great performance. He is coming back from injury, so maybe that does have something to do with it, although he looked fine on his first game back. Hopefully, again, Darius Garland is still a very young player. He's still 22 years of age, so I'm not like writing his career off or even his season off or anything like that. He's had hot and cold moments so far early in the season, but maybe this is just a player who's, adjusting to having another superstar mega talent on his team, where last season basically Darius Garland was the guy you went to when you like in the clutch time when you needed something, and maybe that's a bit of an adjustment that he'll have to make as the season goes further on. Again, I'm not writing his season off, although his performance in the fourth quarter and really through this entire game was a little concerning, although I think something that's more concerning on the whole from this game in general was the defense that the Cavs played against the Kings, where they allowed a lot of open looks. They did decently in the paint, but again, it was, and I saw some complaint. I feel like I shouldn't even mention complaining about the officials, because it seems like it happens for every game, for every fan base on social media, not just in the NBA, but for every game. Essentially, it's like, oh, the refs are selling, and they like, oh, I found a picture of the Kings jersey, and it's like a picture of an official's shirt. It's the refereeing, there were some bad calls, obviously, but I don't think there was anything too game breaking. And honestly, there were some calls that went tremendously against the Kings in this game as well. So I guess both teams can claim that they got the short end of the stick of the officials at certain points in this game. But the Cavs played pretty bad defense in the game. Obviously, they put up 120 points and they still couldn't get the W because the Kings just scored more than them. That's how winning and losing works in sports. But essentially, what happened was, the Cavs, they had a really way too relaxed game against the Kings. Again, I feel like they put together some decent offense. And in that third quarter, when the Kings were still putting up scoring, they were kind of being held on by a thread with Kevin Love having a really solid start to the third quarter, and Donovan Mitchell just dragging this Cavs team to being competitive in this game. I think without Donovan Mitchell, this game looks a lot uglier than it is. It doesn't even get to the stages of where the Kings have to shoot a bunch of free throws in order to maintain their lead. I think the Kings just win it outright in a blowout. But again, decent. The Cavs, they didn't lose faith or anything. They were down by a bit, especially coming into the third quarter. They were already down, and then they have, I think, 3 straight turnovers. I think all of them were facilitated by Darius Garland, but I'm not too keen on that. I'm not watching highlights of this game again. I want to just delete this game from my memory, get this recap of it done. It'll probably be a bit shorter and just move on from it. Yeah, so that's a little discouraging for a Cavs team. We'll see how they look against the Warriors away in Golden State, in Oracle Arena. I think that's where they still play, I think. I don't know. Everything's upside down right now. But, the Cavs, I think they still have a really great group around them, obviously. They just have to start, they have to play tighter defense, and we know they're capable of it. We've seen them before. Coming into the game against the Kings, they were second in defensive rating over a decent sample size. 10 games isn't nothing. So I feel like there is confidence and there's reason to believe with the players they have in, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And hopefully if Isaac Okoro can contribute just something eventually to this team, that should help the defense. But, relying on that kind of defensive structure where, the Cavs, play good defense, obviously. Hopefully that kicks back in, and hopefully we see a much better effort and a much better result on the defensive side of the floor, because, again, the offense put up 120 points. So I don't really have much complaints there about the offensive side of the ball. They seem to be pretty competent in the second half and throughout the whole game, really. But it was just porous defense from the Cavs, and that's what really killed them yesterday. So thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe. If you enjoyed the video and like to see more like it, let me know if you have something to say in the comments, and I will see you at the next one.